Hey everybody, today we have a very inspiring episode. We're going to be talking about a story of transformation from pain to power. I can't wait to share that beautiful experience and testimonial with you. It's going to have so many gems and so much wisdom and hope. Make sure that you get your pen and paper and take notes with all the good stuff that's coming on this episode. And welcome to Be Healthy Podcast, the best way to discover practical tips and holistic health information from amazing wellness experts, holistic doctors, and even real people with incredible healthy journey stories to inspire you to become the best version of yourself. I am Ana Marino, a self-healing specialist, physical therapist, best-selling author, and a public speaker. I heal myself before, and I know you have the power to heal yourself too. And today we will talk with Cindy. Cindy is one of my dear patients. I love her story. She is also a long time executive career. She helped so many people throughout her career before. And she also a caregiver for multiple family members, including raising a son. And she did a great job for that because I met her son before, and such a good kid. Then, Cindy, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to be here, Anna, and I'm really happy that I can share my story.
Yeah, then let's get started. And what did your life look like before? Share it with us a little bit more.
So before I met Anna, I was walking around thinking I was fine, always putting a lot of energy into everything and working really hard to feel good, but not really getting there. I was busy all the time, taking care of my family, taking care of my son, taking care of my projects and my work, and not really taking care of myself. And I thought I was, but I had some pain, I had some sleeping issues, and I struggled to, I guess, get through that and didn't really know why. So that's where I was before. I don't know if we want to get into specifics why I came to you, Anna. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's go a little bit deeper into like, okay, then you were really struggling back then, you were looking for solutions, and then tell us a little bit more about the story. Then what was the main challenges that you were having back then?
So, like a lot of people, when you get to a certain age, you start having more things happen. And I was having some shoulder pain, and I had been to physical therapy, and it just was not working. And I knew that I needed to do something different. And a friend referred me to Anna. And at first I had a little trepidation. I have done some holistic healing things like Reiki and acupuncture and other things that worked as traditional. But in this case, I was coming to see Anna because she's this amazing physical therapist, my friend was saying. So I came to give it a try. And I had a lot of pain with my shoulder, but then I realized that I had a broken ankle issue that wasn't going away. And Anna, of course, can watch me walk across the room and tell me exactly what's wrong with every muscle that's not working. So then I was engaging her to help me with my ankle. And then we ended up getting deeper into, well, why am I not really healing?
Hmm. That's a million-dollar question for a lot of people out there, isn't that? Like sometimes we feel like in life we are doing so much, and in reality it's not about of how much we are doing, it's about being laser focused. When we can really identify what is the main problem, the main challenge, then we can find the main solution. Right. And for you, it was some other things that was happening. Wasn't just the broken ankle. It wasn't just the shoulder. And I think that it's important for the listeners to understand if you are dealing with something that's not getting better, chances are that you haven't found the root cause yet. Then don't give up hope. Keep looking for it, because once we figured out the cause, there is always a possibility of healing. And I love when you came with the eager of like, okay, there is more. What else can I do? Right.
Right. So I know we had talked about this before, but my traditional physical therapy, my foot doctor actually told me, she said, you know what, you're going to have to find another way to exercise other than walking. And I was like, what? You know, I'm not even 60 years old. I have to walk. I have mountains to climb. I have volcanoes to climb. I'm like, I don't know about that. And what I have been going to see, the physical therapist was like, oh, your ankle's great. You look at that flexibility. I'm like, but I'm still in pain. So that's when I said, I got to have some more help and to figure out how I can get through this, because it's not how hard you work necessarily, but like Anna said, it's the laser focus of understanding what really needs to transpire in order to fix it.
Yeah, that's a really, really good reminder for everybody that's listening. And another point that you made, Destiny, that's really important for people to realize that we can do things in combination. It doesn't have to be only traditional physical therapy. It doesn't have to be only holistic therapy. Sometimes it can be one or the other, but many times it's okay to be the combination of that. And many patients like you have been doing the regular physical therapy, what I call the traditional physical therapy, where it's like very focused on only when the pain is. They don't look for the whole body. They don't look at the posture. They don't look at the sleeping position, what's happening to your breath. There's so much more than just the shoulder, just the ankle. And when we start looking at the whole entire body, how's the sinus? How's the nose? Can you take a deep breath? Can you get the air into your nose easier? If you're not using all the muscles on the neck, then your shoulder doesn't have to be so tight. Then there is a direct correlation with so many other parts of the body. That's not necessarily where the pain is. And when we start to identify that, it's like, oh, healing happens so much faster.
Exactly. And you helped me see where it was I needed to work specifically from a physical therapy perspective, with my ankles, hips, legs, knees, to get to walking where I could do. I remember one time, before I went on a trip, I was really destined to like be able to do this trip. I traveled overseas. There were going to be cobblestone streets. And I said, I want to do this. And I was like, we're going to go up 2 steps at a time. You can do it. You need the confidence. And she took me to the stairs in the back and I was doing it. So then when I was actually on my trip, I thought about that. And sure enough, I could do it. And I just felt so strong and so confident because I went through not just the root cause, because I was healed in a lot of doctors' mind, but through the ability to understand the strength that I needed more holistically.
And that's a perfect example of the problem not being the problem, right? You thought your problem was your balance and your strengthening, but in the experience, I remember that was such a beautiful experience where with your problem that day was confidence. You had the balance, you had the strength. And when you realize you did the exercise and you realize you had that already inside of you, then like your whole body changed, your whole posture changed. It was already there. It just needed to kind of like guide you, like over here, put the flashlight on it, and then you're like, boom. And didn't take a lot of time. And I think that's another piece of the beauty of the healing when you're looking from that self-healing, the holistic healing, is things doesn't have to take forever. It doesn't have to be so long because we are getting more laser focused to the problem. And then when you build that confidence, then you could go your trip and it's like, I remember you coming back to the trip, you were like so happy. You're like, you're not gonna believe what I did.
No problems whatsoever. It was great.
Yeah. Then let's kind of shift it from, okay, then before you having a lot of problems, you're kind of feeling like, oh, I'm just kind of getting old. There's nothing that can be done. The doctors say there's nothing that can be done for you. And then you start shifting. Then what happened when you start doing that shift? What is the transitioning period there?
Well, I had to focus more from the inside, focus more on me from the inside. And honestly, this academy I have here is great. It helps you to understand so much more about self-healing. And I decided that I would go ahead and invest in myself to be a part of something that was new and different to me. And it wasn't someone else healing me, but it was me healing myself. And some of that, we talked about this earlier on, some of that was kind of scary because a lot of times you know deep inside that there's some issues that you need to heal, but you feel that you can overcome them through whatever you've been trying to do for years and years, like weight loss and using Weight Watchers, which was working, but not working on and off for decades for me. So I went ahead and signed up for the academy because I got to a point where I felt very confident in Anna and what she had to say and what I learned about the academy. And I said, you know what, I can try this. And if I don't like it or if I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of it, I just don't need to do it anymore. But I owe it to myself to go in wholeheartedly and try it. So to answer your point about the transition, it was me putting that energy and effort and time of journaling and learning and doing the online programs, learning about the different tools and trying the tools, doing our biweekly meetings, attending and doing it wholeheartedly and putting myself first. And that's what the transition looked like.
Mm. And you made such a beautiful point there because I think everybody that's been on this healing journey in some point of their life hit the resistance, that fear, that scary moment of like, okay, one more thing, one more new technique, and being able to identify that fear and push through anyways and try. Don't give up on yourself. Being able to like, okay, it may didn't work before and I'm gonna try something else. I think that's such a beautiful and important piece of wisdom for anyone that's been in this healing journey. And I know that the longest the journey is, the harder it gets. Because it's the disappointment, it's the assumption, it didn't work before, it's not gonna work again. And we do need to stay open-minded to be able to try something new. Because if we walk into something and we already come from that place of, oh, it didn't work before, it's not going to work again, then it's probably not going to work. Then,
So I guess I opened my heart and tried to give myself space, time, and patience.
mhm.
I am not a patient person. And to be honest with you, when I realized I've been a part of this for 2.5 years, I thought, okay, I can be strong enough or I can be healed enough. But once I realized, as Anna said, you kind of break through that, there's so much more out there that you can be that's beyond what you think you might be capable of. And I I don't think I really realized that. I thought I'm going to be an okay, 60-year-old. I'm not going to be a great 60-year-old. And guess what? I am going to be a great 60-year-old. I am a great 60-year-old. So yeah, because of the time, energy, and effort that I put into learning about how to heal myself. So
Mhm. And that is, I wish that every single human being hear that because age is not a limitation. We have so many tools, we have so much technology nowadays that we can't just settle for, oh, sorry, I'm 60, or sorry, I'm 70. It's like I have so many patients on their 80s and their 90s, they live their life. It's like there is no limiting to get 50 and 60 and say, sorry, I'm just old. It's like, no, there's so much potential. And I love what you say there. What is even good enough? Like so many times we learn how to tolerate life and just kind of like stay on the status quo and just kind of like, it's okay, it's okay. I don't really like my life, but it's okay. And it's almost like sometimes I hear patients talking, it's almost like when they first come into me, it sounds like they're waiting to die. It's like They're just kind of like flowing with life, but they're not really living life. And when you take that power back, when you heal yourself, when you feel better, it's like this excitement I see in your eyes now. It's so different. And we're like, I want to travel. I want to do this. I'm going to the gym. I'm like, there is life there. And that is so different.
Yeah, if I could give an example, because there have been so many things that I wanted to get better at. And sleep has been always something, it probably is very challenging for a lot of people. And we talk about it very frequently, I would say, through the healing process, because sleep is very important. And so I wasn't sleeping great, like a lot of people. I did not want to take any sleeping medication, but I did some, maybe a little of Tylenol or whatever to help me fall asleep. And I thought, I have got to break this because I need sleep. I want to get better at it. So by being a part of the academy, I had a bunch of tools that we were able to access, to learn and to try. And sure enough, slowly, I got to the point where I realized that I could do this and I could sleep. And I sleep better. I sleep 8 hours, 9 hours. I slept 10 hours this weekend, which is crazy for me to say that. And it's not like I'm doing anything strange or odd. I've just gotten to the point, and Anna and I said this, where my nervous system, I know what I need to do to give my nervous system what it needs so that I can sleep. So I don't know if we want to talk about that now, but
Yes, yes. And I just say one more thing about that piece about the sleeping, because sleeping is essential. We all need to sleep. And when you talk about the nervous system, for the listeners that never heard that connection before, I just wanted to kind of put a little side note here. Sleeping is the safest zone that we can get. If you can't feel safe, you can't sleep. When we think about the sympathetic versus the parasympathetic, if the tiger is coming and you're feeling a threat, if you're feeling fight, flight, or freeze, that stress reaction, that sympathetic reaction, you're not going to fall asleep. It's not safe. Then it's so important for people to recognize it. If you're having problem with sleep, you gotta look from the angle of the nervous system plus everything else. It can be just everything else. We gotta look at the nervous system, because if you don't feel safe, if your brain is going, if you worry about things, if you can't disconnect, if you can't let it go, then you're not gonna sleep because it's not safe. The tiger's coming, the tiger's coming, and you keep waking up in the middle of the night. Is the tiger here? Is the tiger here? And you can't fall asleep again because the tag is coming, right? It's kind of like realizing that how important sleep is for healing. Sleeping is a time of the day that we have the most healing happening because we activate the parasympathetic, what's the just healing and repair. Then we needed to have that piece activated. The healing, sleeping is so important for healing. Thank you for bringing that point up. And okay, then let's link that back to the sympathetic and parasympathetic, the nervous system piece, because that was a major breakthrough for you. Like your shoulder was getting better, the ankle was getting better, and then something else kind of happened. What happened? Share with us.
yeah. So I, like I said, nervous, busy person, pushing, successful. I had a series of accidents over the course of a year and a half that happened to be concussions. I ran into a barbell that was standing up really, really hard when I was bustling around. That put me out, and I was working, so it put me out like maybe a good 3 months. It was hard. It was hard to get over, but I began to understand what I needed to do. And I'm here to tell you that the traditional medicine does not understand concussions. And thank goodness I had help from Anna and my tools to help get through that, and a little bit of acupuncture help too. And then a year later, I had a second one that was minor, but as they say, when you have a first one, your second one is a little worse. And then I was good. Even though I had the broken ankle and other things, I was feeling healthy and hanging out. And then I had an accident where I fell and hit my head. And that was the first one that I fell. And that sent me back to the severity of the first one. And I was at a point where I had to slow down. I had to listen to my body, and I knew it could come back because I had done it before. And we learned about the when the nerves be able to reconnect in different ways. I forget what the term is, Anna, when we say when we connect, nervous system relearns different ways to connect.
Neuroplasticity.
Plasticity. I knew that I would be able to do it, and it took a lot of patience. But in the meantime, my nervous system was talking to me, and I started to listen. And what I thought I was listening to my body before, I ended up really listening to my body and worked through, because going through concussions is a lot of just hanging out and waiting, and waiting until you can get to the point where you have the confidence and you feel that you can do what you need to do to get back to where you can function. And I told myself, I'm not going to just function. I'm going to be better than I was. I'm going to be 125% of where I was before, because I had all these tools and was able to do this. And it was a very self-reflective time. And I'm very grateful that I had the patience and support of my family. But I'm here to tell you that I'm, over 100% healed. And it was a very eye-opening experience that will enable me to take care of myself for the rest of my life, because I do understand my nervous system. I can listen to my body, and it's all because of the tools that I was able to get over this big issue, I guess, in my health journey. That continues. We have more to talk about too.
Yes, and that, Cindy, like what you're saying there is exactly what you started the conversation about enough, right? You thought that you had really good body awareness and you're listening to your body and you think like you have a really good intuition and you thought that your nervous system was really calm and regulated. And suddenly something happened in our life, a challenge happened, and then we have this whole awakening of like how much more potential is available. We can look at things and just like, oh, it's enough, it's good enough. Or we can look at how much more potential. And anytime we have an injury, in some way, that is that lesson there that teach us how much more. What else can we learn about ourselves? And I love how you were able to identify some of the lessons that was crucial for you on your healing journey. I remember that pivot, it was such a beautiful transformation that happened, even though it was hard, even though it was painful, even though it was a very challenged time for you. But it was such a jump start in some ways to get you to the other side so much faster, because it did force you to pause. It did force you to realize, wow, this is really hard to pause. And I think a lot of people live their life like that. They don't know what they don't know. And when they actually something happen in life and we are forced to pause, we're forced to slow down, is when we really realize it's like, wow, I don't know how to do that. And that goes another layer of capacity. It's like, okay, I can do more. Okay, there is more potential here. Then I think even having that mindset that you're saying, to be able to look at those challenges as opportunity to learn. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's devastating. Yes, 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 yes. And I always talk to my clients, and you know that it's an and instead of a but. It can be hard, challenge, devastating, miserable. And can we look at the lessons? Can we look what we learned? Can we look back after the experience and be like, wow, look how much I change, how much I grow, how much in some ways benefit me. And I can relate to that when I had my history of cancer, like in my 20s, and looking back to the experience, it was super painful. And oh my gosh, it was the biggest wake up call I could ever have in my life. And I'm so grateful for the experience now, right? And being able to looking at the end on both experience and both sides of the experience is just such a gift. It's a skill, right? It's a mindset skill. And it's
Well,
such yeah.
doesn't it? Of course, obviously you started a business because of what you've learned, but it changes your trajectory of what you're capable of and what your life can be. And how you want to live it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a beautiful experience. Thank you for sharing that with us. And what do you think was the biggest lesson from that experience for you, since we're talking about lesson?
From my injuries,
Mm-hmm.
um, patience, I think. I was you just, because I was always in the, if I work harder and faster, it's gonna work better for me kind of person. Um, that was my success formula in the past, and knowing that patience is sometimes more valuable in things like healing, because I never thought your body had it in you to do it. I always thought you needed help, and you do have it in your body to do it. And is everything, are you able to do it without help? I'm not saying, don't follow medicine or whatever, but I'm saying that your body really wants to heal. And if you give it the opportunity and give it what it needs so that you can, it's going to make a big difference.
Absolutely. Self-healing. Yes, the body is designed. We cut ourselves, it heal. We don't keep looking at the cut and be like, is that gonna heal? Is that gonna heal today? Is that gonna heal tomorrow? We know if we cut ourselves, we know it's gonna heal. We know it's happening. It's designed for that. And then sometimes we just needed to use the same concept to things a little bit more challenged, like a concussion or a fracture or some chronic pain or some sleeping problems or weight loss. The concept is the same. We just gotta transfer that reminder of like, oh yeah, the body knows what to do. We just gotta give a little help. And the body.
Well, I think I had mentioned this, that I've just recently figured out, is that you've got to give it space. So all you can sit there and think, why is this not working? What do I need to do differently? And until you actually have the space for your body to move into what you need to get done, and that means stop worrying about what you're not doing and just letting it happen, I guess, is the answer that I want to say. Giving it space,
Mm,
not to transfer right away into the next solution, but to follow the path that you need to follow based on your intuition and listening to your body.
exactly. It kind of goes back to what you say about the biggest lesson being patient. Like
Uh-huh.
when we pause, when we slow down, when we be patient, the healing can get so much faster than when we're trying to work hard and getting there and like pushy and shovel, because we're right back to that sympathetic state of fight, fight, and freeze. Versus if you're coming from that place of parasympathetic, it's slower, it's calmer, it's peaceful. Then yeah, it creates the environment for healing so much faster. And that's a really important piece there as well. Then how has this healing journey surpassed your expectation?
Well, I think going into it, I was thinking, here's another thing I'm going to give the good old college try, make my best effort, put my best foot forward, and didn't realize what I needed and was missing going into it. And the fact that some of the things that Anna talked about were things I didn't really understand or hadn't really been exposed to, gave me some curiosity and enabled me to really take advantage of what I needed to do to get to this point. So had it been like everything else that I was doing, where it was someone else helping me get there, go to get acupuncture. Yeah, acupuncture is great, but it wasn't me doing it. It was someone else doing it to me. Or, here's a one size fits all solution for weight loss. Well, one size doesn't fit all. And the Academy is very clear on that. There are many tools that everyone can tap into at different times. People need different things. And if you learn how to use those, you can get to a different point. And that's what I didn't really understand. Sure, everybody wants to heal. Sure, everybody wants to be the best they can be. But how do you break through that wall? And some of it is emotional things that you need to work on to let go of too. And that was a big part of my journey too. So
Yeah, and that goes back to that four pillars, right? It's like we gotta work on the nervous system. We gotta work in releasing the emotions from the body. We gotta work on body awareness. If you don't feel your body, you don't know what your body wants, how can you like provide that for your body and ignite your self-healing abilities because you know your body better than anybody else. And the more you connect to that inner wisdom that you already have it, the easier it is for you to find a solution. And I think you've been doing such a beautiful job with having your toolbox. I gave you the toolbox, the academy gave you the toolbox, and now you're in the mastery phase where you're like, okay, what tool do I want? And you can go there and be like, oh, I wanted this tool for today. Oh, this tool's not going to work very well. I'm going to get this tool over here. Then you have the variety of techniques you can choose from. And the wisdom that you have now of going there and pick and choose which tool is better, because meditation is not good for everything. Exercise is not good for everything. Sometimes we need different tools for different situations. And if we don't have access to that, like you say, it's like if I never heard about neuroplasticity and the brain can change it. If I never heard about the nervous system, how can I change those things if I never heard about it? It's important. I'm a big believer on education plus solution. We need to understand what's happening to our body. It's our body after all. And we need to have the tools to know what to do about the problem as well. I think you did a good job explaining that in a beautiful way and incorporating that into your life.
yeah, I was actually really surprised how little the concussion specialist in the medicine in the hospital, what he gave me to do. It was just, to me, it was a shame because it was nothing like, I mean, I've learned a lot about learning what I need to do to get my nervous system aligned and the simple things that get you that much faster to where you need to be versus just sitting around or having a sheet and say, look here, because a lot of it has to do with your, I guess, your vagus nerve trying to get things better. Yeah, so I was just so grateful to be able to help heal myself instead of waiting around for somebody to give me what needed to happen.
Yeah, and that is the power of a gift, to have that, tapping into that wisdom, to be able to have those tools to heal yourself. That is such a powerful gift for sure. Then what would you say is your favorite part about the academy?
I really like that. Well, there are a couple things. I mean, I think going on the journey with a group is good. And at first I thought, all these ladies are going to be sitting around crying and they all have all these issues. I have enough issues. I don't want to be listening to this. It is not like that at all. You can do what you want to do. There's no right or wrong. You don't feel like you can't keep up or somebody's, doing it better than you. It's more about doing what you need to do for yourself and taking advantage of what's there. So my favorite part, I guess, is being a part of a group and learning from others as they go through it. I also really enjoy discovering all the new things that I can learn. So I guess being able to have a lot there, it's not really limited. There is so much I haven't done, but I feel like I'm going to get to it when I can, as opposed to I have to. It's not like a very structured program where you have to get it done here. And if you don't, you feel shame. It's more about you take what you need, you absorb what you can as you go through it, and just stick with it. And then your body will begin to open up and tell you what it needs. And you'll be like, oh yeah, Cindy did this last week. Maybe I should try it, for example. I'm going to give my dancing around the kitchen example.
Yes.
I was really stiff the other day. I had done a big workout. I'd driven a lot. I had sat in the movie theater. I come home and I'm like, oh, my lower back hurts. My shoulders hurt. So instead of, I really don't want to take a, Tylenol or ibuprofen or whatever. I was waiting for my husband to come home. I'd already eaten dinner, and I'm like, I gotta get the dog his dog food. So I was listening to music, and I had this 6-pound bag of dog food, and I'm dancing around the kitchen, waving the dog food all over. And after about, I don't know, 12, 15 minutes of dancing, nothing hurt. All my pain and stiffness went away. And I was like, that's exactly what I needed to do. And I was super motivated because I, was using my Apple Watch. I needed a few more movement minutes or whatever. And I was like, this is perfect. And I will always look to that because it worked for me. Will I need that every time? No, but it's definitely something that's easy to do. And yeah, kind of proud of myself that was a self-healing technique, just doing something simple like that, and then nothing hurt. And I felt great when I went to bed. I wasn't stiff. I slept well. Despite having, many hours in the seated position, I felt pretty good.
Yes, that is self-healing. Is being able to recognize what's the problem, tapping in and find the solution. And some days gonna be dancing, some days maybe stretching, some days maybe sitting doing meditation, some days maybe releasing emotion. That's why we talk about the mastery. It doesn't have to be a dancing every single time. For some people, dancing with 6 pound weight when they're tired, they are stiff, may make them worse. But for you, it work, and for you to tap into the wisdom and know exactly what your body want that moment, that is magical. That's so powerful. Then congratulations. That's such a beautiful skill. And I feel like that's the kind of skill. That's why I love the work about self-healing, because once you guys learn those skills, you take that for the rest of your life. You're never gonna forget. It's yours. It's tapping back into who you are.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. If, 15 years from now and I'm living somewhere else and Anna's somewhere else, am I going to be able to take all this with me? And I'm like, of course I am. I have to be able to think about how these things are ingrained in me now. There's so many other things that we haven't talked about that are simple that get you on track if you're having digestion issues, or if you're, I don't know what else, having issues. You can work on things and remember to use these simple tools that you carry with you that are just techniques that help you feel better and heal, and then in turn sleep right, and everything else that helps you live your best life.
Absolutely, absolutely. The who, like when you think about the academy, who would be the ideal people? Like who are the people that you'd be like, if you're like this, make sure that you join the academy today. Like who would be the kind of person that you recommend that for?
Well, I think it's really for anyone that wants to get better, and maybe specifically for people who are ready to try a permanent solution and not just invest in something that is going to maybe be a temporary solution, because it's a lifelong skill that's going to enable you to come up with whatever your new challenge is. So if you're at that point where you're thinking, I don't know, I'm just gonna, was me. I'm just getting old and I'm gonna have to have these pains, and I'm gonna have to struggle through the sleep issue, and it's just what everybody has. And now I'm on the other side of that and thinking, I'm not really getting old the way I thought I was, and I am sleeping, and this is pretty awesome. And I mean, I'm just an average person. I'm a person who is curious and who works hard, but sometimes hard work isn't what gets you to where you need to be. I learned that too.
Mhm. Yes, 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 yes. And I think that's an important piece is like people need to be ready to take the time and make themselves priority. I think that was one of the biggest thing that you mentioned there that I think that's so important. It's like when we are on the healing journey, we kind of have to be to the point, we need to get to that point where we're tired to feel tired. We're like, we want something different. We want a permanent change, not just a quick fix. It's not like, oh, let me get the pill and be done with that. Sometimes those things work. Sometimes those things work. The majority of time, they don't. The majority of time, if you're dealing with chronic problems, chances are it took a long time for you to get here. it's going to take a little bit of effort to get there, right? And we got to take that in consideration as well. Then, yes, in having that option with the resources for the academy, having the accountability from the meetings, like you mentioned, like being there, be present, give yourself the best opportunity and the best chance to get the results that you deserve, because every single person deserves to be pain-free. And if you are listening this right now and someone told you that you can never get better, I will challenge you on that. Because every person deserves to be pain-free and be happy and have a good life. You may have not found the solution yet, but keep searching. Keep searching, because you do deserve to feel better. And like Cindy said, when she first came, she was like, I don't think there's much more here. And look at you now. It's like this beautiful transformation from pain to power. Like you're so in power, you're standing on your strength, you're like confident about yourself. You look way younger than when I first met you. Like your posture looks so much better. Like that's a completely different person. And I know that your family had probably make some comments about that too, because you're more active, you're traveling, you're doing more, completely different lifestyle, and that's the possibility. Then if you, the listeners, if you guys are having any challenge, any pain, seek help, because you deserve to feel better. Then with that, let's add the last question there. Then if you could share a tip, what would be like 3 tips that you could share that you wish all your friends and your family members know?
I would like to say you can't meditate and exercise your way to solving all your problems, because I think our society makes you feel that, oh, you should be able to do this if you can do X and Y and Z. Um, the other thing is, I think if you really need to learn to listen to your body, and I was going back and looking at my first post in our academy has a social media group that we have our own. And I was talking about, this was 2.5 years ago, listening to my body, and what I was listening to my body, what I believed that was then, and what I do now are two complete different things. Not that it was what I was doing before was wrong, because I was just learning, but the level of understanding what I need, it's taken time on this journey, and it's fabulous that I'm at this point. And I think it's beyond just exercise and food and sleep. It's about learning other things that I need to do for my body through listening. So that's probably the second thing. And oh yeah, we already talked about this, but don't be afraid to invest in yourself, because I kind of felt like, I don't know if I really want to take the time, and it's not a ton of time. It's as much as you want to put into it, you get out of it. So, but investing in the time, the energy, and being a part of the academy, to me, I was on the fence, to be honest with you, because I had a lot of other things to do. I had to, take care of my son. He was going off to college. I was working. Yeah, a big house. I have a husband. Plans and future I needed to worry about. Do I have time to do this? Well, I was curious, because I was getting to the point where I felt like this would be the same. There would be the same for the rest of my life if I didn't do something different. And I trusted Anna and liked what she did to help me with my initial issues, and then joined the academy. What it was like maybe 3 months after I started with you, 3 or 4 months, and haven't regretted one bit. Haven't looked back.
Yeah. And it's been such a pleasure and an honor watching your transformation and how much you continue to grow and how much more potential. And now I can see your new vision being so much bigger than it was last year, and it continue to get better every year. It's just such an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing that journey with me.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. It's been great to share this, and maybe I can come back 2 years from now and tell you where I am then, because it's going to be even more. There's more potential. So
Absolutely. And thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all the tips and lessons that you have learned on your journey with us.
thank you for having me.
Yes, and thank you so much for the listeners, for hopefully you are enjoying today's episode. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and leave us a review. And if you know anyone that can benefit from this podcast, who can be inspired by this beautiful story that we share today, please share our podcast with your friends. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the notification bell so you can get notified whenever we upload a new video. And if you are ready to reclaim your life and heal from chronic pain, join Be Health Academy. Be Health Academy is a science-based program that offers accountability, pain science education, stress management techniques, ways to shift the mindset, increase body awareness, techniques to release the trauma from the body, and so much more. With the right resources, just like Cindy, you have the ability to heal yourself, and you don't have to do it alone. Let me show you the way. Join the Health Academy. And that's it for today. Keep it up with the good work. I will talk to you later. And until then, be healthy.